Hey guys, what's going on? Megan here. Best biceps exercises of all time. Watch the previous videos if you haven't. Cover chest, back, traps, triceps, and I believe shoulders. But anyway, best biceps exercises of all time. I'm only picking the top 15, right? Because there's a million bicep exercises out there. So I want to keep it simple, focus on the top 15. And remember, the criteria is basically if you could only pick one exercise for the rest of your life, what would it be? Right. So that's the criteria I'm using here because it's very hard to find a bad biceps exercise, right? Because the biceps is a very simple muscle, right? It only has two functions: to flex the arm and obviously supinate the arm. So most biceps exercises do that, right? So it's very hard um, to find a horrible biceps exercise. All right, let's get to it. Remember, guys, the 5 categories are the same. You have I'm about to nut, which is best of the best. You have fucking amazing. You have okay, which is pretty much neutral. You have bad, and you have pure garbage. Now, for an exercise to make it at the top, it has to not only put maximum tension on the bicep, which is pretty much the goal of any exercise, right? You're trying to use maximum tension, so you could recruit as many motor units and muscle fibers as possible. But the exercise also has to try to hit two birds with one stone, right? It has to try to do both functions of the bicep. So let's see. I'm going to pick them at random. You have concentration curls, right? Arnold style. I'm going to put that one at, let's see. This is tough because it's actually a pretty good exercise. I'm going to put that one at fucking amazing, right? Only, and I repeat, only if you supinate your arm, right? If you rotate your wrist at the top of the movement. If not, then it's gonna go down to okay. So a really good exercise. Also remember, this is not based on HSP, right? On my program, because obviously, depending on the day, you're gonna have to pick a different exercise, right? On your H day, you focus only on heavy movements. So that's gonna change the criteria completely. On your S day, which is stretch day, you focusing on the eccentric and you focusing on getting a maximum stretch, training the muscle in a lengthened stretch position. So that's also going to change which exercise is going to be number one. And finally, on P day, which is your pump day, you're mainly trying to get a maximum pump, right? So that's obviously going to eliminate a lot of the good exercises that are perfect for H and S, right? So it's all relative. It depends on your goal. So for the sake of this video, we're just going to look at all the exercises regardless of whether you're doing HSP training or not. All right, so fucking amazing. Next, you have the preacher curl. Believe it or not, I'm going to put that one I'm about to nut. Why? Well, one, you're putting maximum tension on the bicep, right? You're sitting down, you're in a locked position, so you can't really cheat a lot, right? There's no momentum coming in from your hips or your front delts, so it really puts all of the tension on your bicep. And most importantly, you get to supinate and pretty much rotate your wrist at the top of the movement. So you get to perform both functions of the bicep in one exercise. Next, you have the hammer curl. That's another exercise that I'm going to put in I'm about to nut category. And this one is mainly for a different reason, right? The reason I'm putting this one that high is because most people have very undertrained brachialis. That's why from the front, a lot of people look like they don't have biceps at all, right? It's mainly because their brachialis is underdeveloped, right? So hammer curls are going to fix that. Not only it's going to help you recruit your biceps, but it's obviously going to hit your brachialis as well. And you can obviously go a lot heavier on this lift. Now, I actually recommend that you do it sitting down so that you can put maximum tension on the biceps. If you're standing, trust me, your hips are going to come into play. Your front delts are going to come into play, and you're going to take tension away from the biceps. So seated hammer curls, great exercise for overall arm development, including, like I said, your biceps, your brachialis, and a little bit of your forearms. Next, you have the preacher curls. I'm going to put that one at fucking amazing. The only reason it's not higher is, like I said, because you cannot supinate your wrist. But if you're doing a dumbbell version, right, you can definitely put it higher. It's pretty much, if you're doing a dumbbell version, it's pretty much preacher curl. Next, you have the standing barbell curl, which is pretty much the king of bicep exercises. I'm going to put that one at fucking amazing. The reason I'm not putting it higher is, you already guessed it, if you're using a barbell, one, you're going to use a lot of momentum, right, which is fine if you're doing H day of HSP training. But if you're just doing if you're just trying to put maximum tension on the muscle, you're not focusing on power or strength, whatever, you're just trying to put maximum tension on the muscle, I'm not going to put it at number one, right? Again, it's not okay or bad, right? It's still that fucking amazing. But for the sake of maximum tension, I can't put it higher because I see too many people butcher this exercise, right? They use way too much momentum, way too much leg drive, front delts, you name it. So, great exercise, great mass builder, but people tend to use too much momentum and it does not allow you to supinate your wrist. Now, this one, which is the exact same exercise but using dumbbells, so the standing, alternating dumbbell curl is in I'm about to nut category. Why? Because it's just a barbell curl, but much better, right? Whether you're doing standing or seated, again, I always recommend seated for maximum tension, but it allows you to rotate your wrist at the top. So it's pretty much the barbell curl upgraded. Plus, it allows you to fix imbalances, right? Because if you're doing a barbell curl and you have muscle imbalances, let's say one arm is stronger than the other, well, you're not really going to fix it, with this exercise. Because the stronger arm is always going to have, is always going to contribute more to the exercise than the weaker arm. Next, you have the high pulley curl. I'm gonna put that one at okay, right? It's a great exercise on the P day of HSP training. So if you're just trying to get a maximum pump, very few exercises compared to this one. Really, really, really good. You get a really good contraction. But if I could only pick one exercise for the rest of my life, it would not be this one, right? So that's the only reason why I'm putting it here. But it's still a very, very good exercise. Remember, all of these exercises are amazing, right? But I have to make the criteria very, very strict. Else, everything's gonna be up here. Next, you have the incline curl. I'm going to put that one at I'm about to nut. And I'm going to tell you guys why. One, it's a very underrated exercise. A lot of people don't do it. So their bicep is actually very weak in that angle. Two, you can supinate your wrist at the top. Three, there's no momentum involved, right? You're sitting in a chair. You can't really cheat. Can't use too much front delts. Can't use leg and hip drive. So it puts a lot of tension on your biceps. And obviously, it's a very great exercise for the S day, on your stretch day, when you're trying to get a maximum stretch and you're trying to focus on the negative. Very few exercises beat that one. And you have the cable version, so I'm going to put that one at amazing, simply because, again, you're standing. So a lot of the tension is going to be divided across whatever muscle you use to cheat. Next, you have the basic rope hammer curl. Again, I'm going to put this one out okay. I think it's a very overrated exercise. It's you're doing a hammer curl version, but the fact that you're standing, takes a lot of tension away from the biceps, unless you're really, really strict with your form, which most people are not, right? Now, if you rotate your wrist at the top, then it's going to go a bit higher, right? Next, you obviously have the chin up. Believe it or not, this is a great exercise for biceps. The EMG activation of your biceps is actually very, very high when you're doing chin ups, again, underhand. But I'm going to put that one out okay, right? Because, it's not, if I could only pick one exercise for biceps, it would not be. It's simply because the tension is spread out. Your lats are coming in, your mid back, depending on how bad your arc is. So it's not going to be my go-to exercise for biceps. Next, you have the standing cable curl. Again, I'm gonna put that one at. So I'm gonna put that one at okay, right? Because again, you're standing, so there's gonna be some cheating involved unless your form is really, really good and you're very strict and you leave your ego at the door, and it does not allow you to rotate your wrist at the top. So, I can't put it at. I'm about to nut a fucking amazing. Now, yes, the barbell version, you can't rotate your wrist, but you can go a lot heavier as you progress over time, right? So that kind of, neutralizes some of the bad things about the exercise. Next, you have the spider curl. Fucking amazing. Very, 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 very good exercise. Like I said, a lot of the momentum is taken out. If you notice, any exercise where you're not going to, your ego's not going to get in the way, you're not going to use too much momentum, you're not going to cheat too much, I'm always going to rank it high, simply because that's the goal. You're trying to put tension on the muscle, right? That's why I have so many videos year after year ranting about people that overemphasize strength too much, right? Because when you overemphasize strength, you forget about the goal of bodybuilding, right? You forget about, the fact that you're trying to put tension on the muscle, right? Anyone can go out there and use momentum and leverage techniques and just increase their numbers every single week. But that's why a lot of these fuckers just don't grow at all, right? because the tension is not placed on the muscle most of the time. So anything that locks you in place, anything that stops you from cheating too much, I'm always going to rank it high. And the spider curl, fits that criteria. Now, of course, you can't supinate your wrist, so that's why I'm not putting it higher. But if you're using dumbbells, that problem is dealt with. Next, you have it's another exercise that I can't stand. It's not a bad exercise, guys. It's not a bad exercise. Like I said, as long as you doing what the bicep is supposed to do, the exercise works, you're gonna get results from it. But I just don't like when people overcomplicate things, right? So this one, I don't even know what to fucking name it, right? The reverse skull crusher, lying on your back, curl to your face, whatever fucking name it has. But it's a good exercise. Again, like I said, it allows you to flex your arm. But I'm gonna put it at okay, right? Now, if you're trying to focus on if it's your pump day, right? So if you're doing HSP and it's your pump day, or if you're using the bro split version of HSP training, so you're doing it at the end of your workout, then great, right? Because you're gonna get a maximum pump, and you can't really cheat too much because you're lying down. That's the only reason why I'm not putting it at bad, right? It's because it removes the momentum. You're lying down. But I'm not putting higher because it's not practical, right? Right. Let's not complicate things. You can do the exact same thing with the high pulley version. So I'm gonna put it at okay. And it's the only one I'm gonna put at pure garbage, right? The reverse barbell curl. It's a good exercise if you're training forearms, your brachioradialis, on and so forth. But it's not optimal if you're just trying to focus on biceps, right? Pronating your wrist puts your biceps in a very weak position. So you're not going to recruit maximum muscle fibers as far as biceps are concerned, right? Which is the goal of this video. Now, if this video was about forearms only or brachialis only, sure. But as far as biceps go, I'm going to put that one at pure garbage. So that's the list, guys. There goes your best of the best exercises as long as you rotate your wrist at the top. You have the fucking amazing squat. You have the okay squat. And like I said earlier in the video, it's very hard to find a very bad bicep exercise because they all do the fucking same thing, right? It's all about elbow flexion, primarily. But anyway, I hope this video helps. Comment below and let me know what you want the next list to be on, the next tier list video. It doesn't have to be bodybuilding related. It could be anything, any topic. Alright guys, don't forget to like the video, subscribe and hit the bell. Visit my website and grab a copy of my ebook and training program. Go to www.team3dalpha.com and don't forget to use the 40% off coupon code Nucleus Overload.